What's the most heartbreaking announcement your school ever made? For 3 years, our entire school rallied around Emma, a freshman diagnosed with terminal cancer. We held fundraisers, shaved our heads in solidarity, and filled her hospital room with cards when she was too weak for visitors. Fight like Emma became our school motto. Teachers wore purple ribbons daily. Students organized midnight prayer vigils. Our basketball team dedicated their season to her, making it to state championships with her name on their jerseys. We raised over $36,000 through bake sales, charity auctions, and a 5K run. Even local businesses displayed Emma Strong signs in their windows. Monday morning, the intercom crackled during first period. Emergency assembly, now. We rushed to the gym. Emma's mother stood with the principal at center court, tear-streaked face, clutching a folder. Strange. She was supposed to be at the hospital with Emma, who'd entered final stages last week. The principal took the microphone, hands trembling. Police officers entered through the side doors. A detective stepped forward, taking the microphone from our principal. I have disturbing news. Emma Taylor and her mother have been arrested. There was no cancer. The money we raised paid for their new car, designer clothes, and trips to Disney World. The sound of 300 Fight Like Emma bracelets being ripped off at once filled the gym. Have you ever uncovered a lie that completely changed your life? My mom was always different from other parents. Obsessively protective, checking ingredients in everything I ate, calling ahead to every restaurant. But that's just life when you have a deadly chocolate allergy. I spent my childhood watching other kids enjoy their candy bars and birthday cakes from across the room. One bite, she said, would kill me instantly. The fear was so real I'd get panic attacks just from someone eating an M&M nearby. She had a special file with every teacher, made me wear a medical bracelet, and carried 2 EpiPens everywhere. Parents would frantically hide their kids' chocolate when I came over, treating me like a ticking time bomb. While cleaning our basement last year, I found something odd. An old photo of my mom at a chocolate shop, smiling with some man. The date bothered me. It was 3 days after Dad's supposed car accident. Turns out Dad didn't die. He left us for the woman who owned that chocolate shop. Mom's lie about him was strange, but I had bigger things to worry about, like not dying from my deadly allergy. Yesterday, I needed medical clearance for a surgery. The doctor kept staring at my file, his expression growing darker with each page. He pulled up my records, 47 hospital visits over 15 years. Every single visit, he said quietly, was on March 16th, the day your father left. His hand moved to his desk drawer. Your mother claimed chocolate reactions each time. I watched in confusion as he placed a chocolate bar on his desk. There was never any allergy, he said, but there was a mother who couldn't let go of a chocolate shop affair. What's the craziest thing you've ever been accused of? The police showed up at my apartment at 3 a.m. last month. They had a warrant, cameras rolling, and looked at me like I was some kind of monster. I had no idea what was happening until they mentioned the hospital. I'd visited my mom earlier that day. She was in a medically induced coma after her surgery. Everything had been normal. The nurses were friendly, the doctors optimistic. But now the detective was telling me about a string of mysterious incidents in the ICU. That's when I noticed something disturbing in their evidence photos. The hospital's security cameras had these weird glitches, just 2.3 seconds long, always during night shift. The IT department claimed it was routine maintenance, but my tech background screamed that something was wrong. I dug deeper into my mom's medical charts. Hidden between routine notes were unusual sedative doses at 2 a.m., exactly when the cameras glitched. Not just for my mom, every patient who reported incidents had the same pattern. The hospital administration tried to brush it off as a documentation error, but Tuesday night, the hidden camera we installed caught something nobody expected. The night nurse wasn't working alone. She was being forced, tears streaming down her face as she followed someone's orders. My mom finally woke up yesterday. She grabbed my hand and whispered something that made everything click. The hospital director has been harvesting organs from sedated patients. The thefts were just a cover-up.
I exposed how my rich private school treated our lunch lady, and it changed everything. Our cafeteria worker, Ms. Rosa, always smiled, even when students threw food on the floor or made fun of her accent. One day, I saw her crying in the kitchen after hours. She told me they cut her pay but doubled her workload after firing the other cook. I couldn't sleep that night. The next morning, I brought my phone to lunch and secretly recorded everything. Kids dumped their trays on purpose, calling her their personal maid. The worst part, the principal walked by and didn't say a word. That weekend, I made fake Instagram accounts pretending to be rich parents. I commented on all the school's posts about how disappointed we were that our $50,000 tuition went to schools that mistreated staff. Other real parents started asking questions. The next day, the principal announced they'd heard concerns. But instead of helping, they threatened to fire Ms. Rosa for causing drama. Big mistake. I stood up in the middle of lunch and played my videos on the cafeteria's projector screen. The whole room went silent. Parents started calling. The local news showed up. Turns out, the school had been pocketing cafeteria funding for years. Now Ms. Rosa runs the whole kitchen staff with better pay. And those mean kids, they have to help clean the cafeteria every day after school. The principal got fired last week. Sometimes the best revenge is just showing people the truth.
I witnessed a teacher destroying a child's spirit, and I'll never forgive myself for not doing more. I was giving a presentation in a 3rd grade classroom when I noticed him, a sweet boy sitting alone in the back corner. His desk was pushed far away from everyone else's, like he was being punished just for existing. The moment he raised his hand, the teacher snapped at him to put it down. Throughout my entire presentation, she kept making cruel comments. This is the worst class I've ever had. These kids are impossible. Every time a student tried to participate, she'd shut them down. I could see the other kids glancing at him, some with pity, others too scared to show any reaction at all. I watched this bright-eyed boy shrink smaller and smaller. When he tried answering a question, she'd roll her eyes. When he got excited about something, she'd make him feel stupid. His shoulders would slump a little more each time, like he was trying to disappear. I told his mom that day to get him moved to a different class. She said it was too complicated, that it might make things worse, but she was wrong. A year later, I saw him again. That spark in his eyes was gone. His mom told me he barely speaks up anymore, too afraid of being humiliated. She cried as she told me how he used to love school, how he'd come home buzzing with excitement about learning new things. I should have fought harder. I should have reported that teacher. Now I have to live with knowing I let a bully destroy a child's love of learning forever.
She said, "My therapist says you're the source of my anxiety." I nodded and said, "I see." Then I packed my bags and left a note. "Problem solved. You're welcome." The panicked texts I got 24 hours later told a different different story. 4 years together, living together for 2, and I thought I knew Veronica. She had her quirks, sure, but nothing out of the ordinary. Then she started therapy. At first, it seemed like the best thing ever. She came home glowing, talking about self-care and boundaries. I was all for it. Who doesn't want their partner to feel better? But then therapy basically turned into everything Marcus does is evil. If I asked her if she wanted Thai or pizza for dinner, apparently that was controlling behavior. If I said the dishes were piling up, suddenly I was obsessed with power dynamics. When she came home at 4 a.m. and I asked if she was okay, that was toxic masculinity. It felt like I was living with a self-diagnosed psychology textbook, and I wasn't the boyfriend anymore. I was the case study. I started walking on eggshells in my own house. I stopped asking questions. I cleaned quietly, cooked quietly, lived quietly, spent more time at my buddy Theo's just to breathe. Then came the Tuesday speech. I come home late from work, tired, and she's on the couch clutching her therapy journal like it's a script. She looks me dead in the eye and says, "Marcus, we finally figured it out. You're the source of my anxiety." I just stared at her. She really thought I was gonna argue, cry, beg? Nah. I stood up, grabbed my duffel, and started packing. She followed me, panicked. "You're proving her point." Nope, I was solving her problem. I walked out that night. That's when the circus started. The texts kicked off less than 24 hours later. First, angry ones. "You're immature." Dr. Whitlock was right. Then came the guilt trips. "Please, let's talk. I didn't mean it like that." Then, practical desperation. "The Wi-Fi's down, I don't know the password. How do I pay the electric bill? Rent's due next week, Marcus. Help me wild." Because 3 months ago when I said maybe we should downsize since I was paying 70% of everything, she told me I was threatened by her lifestyle. A lifestyle funded by me. Then the social media saga started. Cryptic posts. When people show you who they are, believe them. Self-care isn't selfish. And my personal favorite, healing from abandonment. Meanwhile, she's posting selfies at $18 smoothie spots. She didn't stop there. She actually called my HR, told them I was her domestic partner and that I was having a breakdown. My boss called me like, "So, she told you you're her problem and you agreed?" Honestly, respect. Even HR laughed. Her mom wasn't far behind. Shows up at my job lobby, designer person all crying, "Marcus, she can't eat, she can't sleep. She had to borrow grocery money from me." Grocery money. I left a fully stocked fridge and her $400 emergency cash stash. 2 days later, she's borrowing for groceries, but also out buying pressed juice with her girls. Then came the roommate stunt. She advertised her apartment as this healing, mindful space and pulled in some poor 23-year-old named Melody. That girl lasted 5 days. She DM'd me like, "Is Veronica always like this?" She told me I couldn't use the living room between 6 and 8 because it's her integration time. Integration time for therapy. She even tried charging the poor girl extra for emotional labor. Landlord found out I wasn't on the lease anymore. Eviction proceedings started. The wildest part? Her therapist straight up texted me, said leaving a partner suddenly can mean deeper issues and offered me referrals. My lawyer buddy told me to screenshot everything because it was a massive ethics violation. Next thing I know, the clinic supervisor calls me. Turns out Dr. Whitlock might actually lose her license. And Veronica, she doubled down. Her mom even emailed me a literal invoice, $15,700 for emotional damages, therapy costs, and lifestyle adjustments. Like she was billing me for breaking up with her. My lawyer said, frame it. By the end, Veronica was out of the apartment, out of a job at the wellness center, and living back at mommy's house. All that, I'm the source of your anxiety talk. And when I actually left, she completely fell apart. She thought therapy gave her power. But the second I agreed with her diagnosis and walked out, that power was gone. She thought I'd fight to prove I wasn't the problem. Instead, I let her believe her own words, and she crumbled under them.